Hello, everyone. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, July the 14th, 6:33 p.m. Thank you so much for your support. We are live. About 15 people connected so far. I'm sure many more to come. I'm here with John. We're going to be talking about, to me, I mean, the only word I could describe this game was just lackluster. I think especially in the second half. Unfortunately, this is a game that, John spoke about also on the last spot and said, we have to win this game. It is embarrassing for us to lose to the worst seeded team in the East. And, a lot of pundits are talking also about, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to beat these teams. Now, yes, there's a lot of people that say soccer is unpredictable. Soccer is, you never know what can happen. And, as we saw in the Club World Cup, against all odds, Chelsea defeated PSG, which was favored to win. In this scenario, Orlando's flaws, I believe, and Orlando's, I guess, lack of just trying to get the job done. I think they had this result. Now it could have been a little worse if Montreal would have been a better team for sure. Good thing is that at least we got the draw, and now we move on. And again, the gap is closing in. We're coming into a derby, which is against New York City at home, with pissed off fans, and clearly disappointment within the locker room. Some players saying, that this is unacceptable, and this is a massive 3 points because if we lose this game, the Inter could get further, and Orlando could drop, and because the distance between New York right now and Orlando is only 4 points. So a lot of things that are on the line right now for Orlando. We need to get that engine going again. I'm here with John. Today, we're going to be discussing the tie against Montreal. We're going to talk about OCB and obviously Justin Ellis also killing it. Chelsea FC lift the Club World Cup. We'll discuss all of that and more. And also, we'll do our Orlando City score predictions as well for the game. The game coming up in 48 hours. John, how are you, my friend? How you feel?
Oh man, what a bummer! Like, what a letdown. The trap game was, I don't know if it was like sprung the trap by Montreal because it wasn't even that. It was just, yeah, disappointing. I think is the main way to describe that game, Luis. A great moment, which I got a great video of from the wall where Martin Ojeda scored that free kick. Outside of that, I I'm struggling to find anything particularly good about the boys' performance. So very disappointing. Cannot lose to Montreal. I mean, cannot draw to Montreal at home. I say lose because it felt like a loss. And we say that a lot. If a draw that feels like a loss, 100% that's what this is. So very disappointing. Very very disappointing. I gotta say.
Orlando controlled much of the game, particularly in the first half, where, obviously, as you mentioned, they executed that clever set piece to take the 1-0 lead. However, again, we create a lot of opportunities. You just can't capitalize. And, once you don't capitalize, then the other team, the whole entire game, and again, we mentioned it on our last spot also when we previewed this game. Montreal has really not a lot of weapons in their arsenal. And one of those that they were going to use was be physical, try and look for the foul, try and look for the contact. Piet, Waterman, Laturi, and even when Petrasso was there too, I mean, the whole point of them was to look for that penalty kick. And eventually they got what they came to Orlando for, which, I mean, clearly they're a team that is depleted and doesn't really have a lot of threats. But, I mean, Orlando failing to capitalize on their dominance, it was questioned here. The hosts, which is Orlando, we definitely attempted to push for a second goal, but I just think that it's just Montreal was just trying to look for that. They got what they wanted out of Orlando. And just this lack of clinical finishing, which is not the first game, I think it's taking its toll on the team, John. I mean, no one can finish the ball. You're muted, John. Sorry.
My bad. 4 out of 10 shots on target. It's just not good enough. I mean, XG 0.48.
Uh,
I mean, Montreal had 0.85. I know XG is one of these stats. It's like, take it with a pinch of salt, but against Montreal, we don't even manage. We're not even getting an XG of more than 1 or 2. Like, we should have scored at least 2 or 3 goals against this team. I just think there was too much messing around with the ball outside of the box, and it was that classic routine that people are doing against us all the time, where they just come and they sit deep and they know that we can't break them down, Luis. Like, and that was a lot of this as well. They just put men behind the ball, and we just got to the point where we're trying to play very intricate 1-2 passes around the box, and you got Muriel taking far too many touches, and it just felt like we're trying to do too much. And then when you got balls coming in from the wing, from Rafa Santos or from Alex Freeman, I'm like, well, who are they aiming at? Because you got Enrique in there, who's not really that big of a guy. He can jump, but he wasn't really in the position a lot of the time. And there was no one really in the middle of the box to aim the ball at. So I was kind of confused about how we're trying to score goals against Montreal. I think we needed to be much more patient on the ball. We need to work the space. We need to move them around, find the gaps. And I just felt like we weren't doing that. It was real lack of quality again. And I just think our attack at the moment is just not functioning at all. And Paula had some notes that she sent us. She's sad that she can't be here today, but she wanted to talk about that. So that'll be a good time to bring in what she said. She said this on the last podcast as well. Not sure why Ojeda is still on the wing and is more effective in the 10. Muriel, it's not like the Muriel that was at the start of the season. She would like to see him on the bench. And she's saying that Ojeda should be in the number 10. And maybe we should give Nico Rodriguez a start. So that's Paula's thoughts. And I tend to agree with a lot of that. I mean, it's like we said before. Why has Oscar decided yes, bench Angulo because that's what we wanted, but no one wanted Ojeda to go to the wing. And Muriel is not performing like he was. This is another thing. Matt Doyle also talked about this week and called out the fact that he's the problem in the team. So I think you can see it, Luis. He's not what he was at the beginning of the season, and often he's either giving the ball away or he's just shooting, and it's like a real disappointing shot, a lack of power often, P dribblers, I say, is that's what I call them. But overall, I think there's a lot of issues with our attack at the moment.
I just feel, and to answer Paula's question and your question, I feel like it maybe it's gearing towards Oscar wants to use all the attacking weapons he has. And because look at the stats, 10 goals, 9 assists for Ojeda. Well, 10-10 now. 10 goal, 4 assists for Pasalic. And then below those two, the guy who has the most goals after that is Luis Muriel, 6 goals, 6 assists. Now, below that is Ramiro Enrique, 5 goals, 2 assists. And below that, you got Alex Freeman, Dagger Dan. And below that, you got Araujo. And then below that, you have all the Brecalo. Yeah, and then you have everybody from OCB. Now, I feel like he wants to maybe use the best attackers he has on the attacking third. Now, I do feel there's inconsistency from Muriel. And I don't think it's just Muriel. I think it's inconsistency of them clicking and having that effectiveness in the attacking third together. And I think that's the struggle that Orlando's having, because yes, we first talk about Angulo and the fact that he carries the ball on the left, but he doesn't finishes or loses the ball and doesn't tread back. but then also, we have that situation in which there's kids that come in, and I'm gonna point out Nico Rodriguez. I'm sorry with what I'm about to say, but I'm probably gonna get in trouble. But I feel he's completely green. I feel he's green, and I think maybe Oscar's trying to prove y'all a point that Angulo, there's no one but Angulo right now that can maybe carry that ball on that flank. And eventually, he's maybe against NYCFC, we're gonna see Angulo back and Ojeda back at the 10. Now, because Nico Rodriguez is green still. I mean, he went in and turned over the ball, and he's actually going to be playing at OCB. He played in OCB against Carolina Core. So, unless maybe Oscar's ready to put Caraballo in, but then Caraballo's going to be an all-star for the MLS next. He's also going to be playing OCB. So there's really not a lot of options now, and then I also feel with that, just to finish up, I think one of the missing pieces there, especially in the mid, and somebody that really didn't turn over the ball much and hold the ball really well and defended really well, was Joran Gerbe. And I think he's also missing. I feel like he gave that pace into the mid, because there were a lot of, I don't know if you felt the same way, John, but there were a lot of turnovers that if this would have been like a Columbus or a Philly, I mean, it would have been pretty bad for Orlando, but it was Montreal nonetheless,
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it was sloppy, definitely all round for sure. I mean Santos got put back in and
yeah,
showed that
yeah,
he even against Montreal,
I agree
like
with you on that.
he's just not you don't like to pick out players, but he is a liability. The guy gets beat all the time. And then in the second half, there was a moment where he got beat in their half of the field, and he just stand there pointing at the ball when they're running down the other end of the field and almost score a goal. It's stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you need to get back. You need to, cover. What are you doing? So those moments, and then I think overall, just the back line was good ish, apart from the classic mistake that we always make is where we give away this stupid foul. Yes, the guy dives. I mean, the guy dives like Superman, but it doesn't matter because MLS is dumb, and we've seen this 1,000 times. Just don't give him the opportunity to do that. And Schlegel once again makes the mistake, and then that costs us the win. But I think also what costs us the win is just, why can't we score more than one goal against Montreal? Like, beginning of the year, the standard that was set by this team was really high, and I think that it is now fallen far, far. Like, we haven't fallen that far in the table because we built up a lot of points, so we're kind of suffering this bad run of form at the moment. But right now, the results are not there, and performances are not there. A loss to Cincy at home, very disappointing. I can accept that as like, okay, Evander is just really good, and Pedro made a mistake, but a draw away at Columbus, I mean at Charlotte,
No,
that
I draw
there
home.
was
You mean,
something.
yeah,
Sorry, draw at home with Charlotte. There was something wrong with that. Sorry, draw away, and then this draw at home is what I was going to say. And I want to shout out to Ricardo, because not a lot of GMs will always be as honest and open as he is. And I
yeah.
think this post that he made was a lot of respect for that. And I think a lot of people, appreciate his honesty. He said, "This club has set a new standard tonight, and we fell below it." Sorry. This club has set a new standard, and tonight we fell below it. We're not here to settle for enough. We're not here to grow. Sorry, we're here to grow, to demand more, and to deliver. Vamos por más. Wednesday has just started. So I think what he's saying there is, I'm also see that this is not good enough.
Yeah,
And not many GMs would come out, and I don't say he's criticizing, but he's just stating the fact that he sees that this is happening. They're not turning a blind eye to it. They're not pretending, hey, everything's fine. He's saying we're not where we should be right now. We'll get back to it.
he's voicing he's voicing his disconformity of the result, and also for the players to look at that, and to the coaching staff, because it is true. I mean, at some point, you know, as much as some people want to blame the coach, and some of those decisions are also because some of our players. I mean, we cannot. Each team prepares to face Orlando, to beat Orlando, and they look at every single thing that Orlando's going to do. Orlando's job is to put it put on the pitch what they've practiced the whole entire week against that team. Now, 9 out of 10 times, I'll say on a 50-50 level is the coaching staff and also the players. And also it could be depth, and also it could be the impact that your subs have. Like on the game against Charlotte, when Ivan Angulo came in, he was a spark of he was a player that really changed the pace of the game. Maybe in this particular game he was not, you know. So it's it's the inconsistency, and I think it is what he says. We cannot be settling for a draw against the worst team in the MLS. He was upset, visibly upset. I was right there, and I could tell you he was visibly upset. He didn't even want to, like, in any way, shape, or form, talk to anybody. But I mean, he's really nice. But yeah, I mean, again, another day, another game. NYCFC, which they're gonna want to get the 3 points. And like you said, John, I was this close to tweet Rafa Santos is an open door, and I stopped myself. And this was in the 5th minute. Like this wasn't like the 5th, 6th minute. I was like this close. And you guys said, "Well, Lewis, why you didn't put the tweet?" Well, I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to be like negative Nancy. What happens is one of those crosses hits the head of Ramiro, and then I look like an idiot. So no, but man, I mean, it is completely true. I think it is inevitable. I feel with that under 22 slot, as also, um, you know, um, they've said too. We need a left back. We need another. We need a win back. We need somebody that just like Freeman could be work on a line of 5 defenders, as a complete straight win back and forth, or we need a left back, like really bad. Like I think somebody that's able to take over 2 jobs essentially,
I
because
think also like a lot of people, like I put that poll out a while ago. I have to try and find it in a minute, but about what we should do with the U22 slot. And Ricardo, was on Soccer Wise talking
yeah,
about, and I think he said something around like there's a spot in our squad that definitely needs to be addressed, right? Or could be improved, I think he said. And a lot of people took that as it's going to be the left wing because Angulo, has been performing like Angulo. But if you always look at our squad, we only ever had one left back, and that's been Rafa Santos. So if you're looking at that, it's like, okay, so you have one left back, and he's not really very good. So for me, the biggest issue is left back, and I think
yeah,
that's where he's going to be looking for this U22 player. I might be wrong about that. It might be a left winger, but I think our team is essentially unbalanced. Like we play Brecalo there as a solution, and it's not a great solution really. He's good there, but he's not like able to provide any attacking threat really up that side. He's just kind of an inverted left back, and also he can be used in the center, back position anyway. So I think the better thing to do would go find that left back, have some balance on the team. Like it does make a big difference when you're trying to attack. Like against Montreal, look what Alex Freeman was able to do up the right side. He had that one moment, which was crazy in the box, where he almost did it all himself and got the 2-1. Like we need someone on that left side that's going to have that overlapping chance, that's going to coordinate. I think a lot of that is the issue here. Is like, look at the partnership that Pasalic and Freeman have developed. Like we need a left back that's able to develop a partnership, whether it's with Angulo or whoever is going to be playing that left wing position. My vote is for Enrique, and put Muriel back in the striker, right? I think that was where, when you look back, Luis, at the time when you're talking about all the DPs were working, at that time, Ojeda was in the 10, Muriel's at the striker, Pasalic at right wing, and Angulo at left wing. So for me, you just put Enrique at left wing, and that's the solve. So I don't really know why Oscar messed with it a whole bunch more than that. But if he's not going to do that, then yeah, just put Angulo back at left wing, and whatever you do, just put Ojeda back in the number 10 position for me, because it all got messed up when you put Muriel in there, because he's a very different kind of number 10. And I think all of the flow that we had in attack just, for me, went out of whack when he did that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think against, and again, I do want to say, because I think Paola mentioned it too on our chat. I feel that maybe he tried this. I mean Oscar, because of the rival also. So hey, it's Montreal. And but I'm on board with you as well that we need to keep it simple. Like if he really wants to use Muriel, just put Muriel at the 9, put Martin at the 10, and just keep Angulo and keep Pasalic there. You know, because that wasn't working, and I completely agree, because there was always an extra pass and an extra dribble almost for every freaking play in the first half. It was so annoying. Like, I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, shoot the damn ball, and it was just like, oh, frustrating. Now, let's read some comments real quick, because we're gonna keep analyzing. Thank you so much for your support. We're about 40 people live now. Jeffrey O, when will the Pappy specials end? There you go. F, what's up, fam? Nico got sent to the OCB game. That's right. He's green, man. I mean, he's a great kid, and I'm sure he's a great player. But I mean, he's green. Haven't got an Eastern Conference win since the Miami game since the Miami game 2 months ago is devastating. Yeah, we're in a 3-game winless streak, and again, for a team that wants to compete, that's against the worst team in the East. That's something that it should not occur. Now, um, I do want to say, when it comes to the penalty, let's talk a little bit about the penalty. The penalty, there was a penalty awarded to Montreal in the 82nd minute. Um, According to Pro, um, Rodrigo Schlegel's foul on Priest Owusu in the penalty area was clear. It was confirmed by referee Rami Tushan and VAR Sean Tahini. Owusu's movement drew the foul, and Schlegel's challenge was reckless. That's what the referee wrote on his report, leaving little room for debate. What are your thoughts on the penalty? I honestly, I saw a dive. I saw that. Yeah, it was from behind, and probably that's why it was called a penalty. But I really didn't see. um, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it looks like a dive to me.
Yeah,
Man flies through the air.
yeah,
I mean, it's a classic. Man puts his leg in front of man. Man flies into leg. Is it a foul? I mean, there's smarter refs around the world that will go, no, man, you're
yeah.
looking for that. They'll say you're trying to, buy the call.
Right,
You're
right.
looking for it. You're, intentionally waiting for the guy. And another refs, will say that's a foul every time. And it seems to me in MLS that usually lands with any kind of contact. If the guy goes flying over in the box and you touched him somehow, they give a penalty. It seems to be the trend, especially against us. I don't know. I would love to see some stats one day about, like, calls that were right or wrong against teams in this league and where we stand. I don't know if anybody has that information, but it does seem like this happens to us on a fairly regular basis.
Now, do you feel like there was a? Well, I know Oscar mentioned on the post press conference about a penalty that was not called for Orlando. Was it Luis Muriel, I believe? I don't know.
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember
I
that one.
must have missed that in the game. Do you know which minute that was? I'll
No,
happily look it up.
I don't think they have it on there. No, but
I know
I
he
mean,
was
look,
talking about that.
look.
This was he didn't think he called it a
Yeah,
dive, right?
I thought that
Yeah,
too.
I
I
think
thought that too.
it's a dive, but also just don't give them the opportunity to fly into you
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I just think that we can really buckle up on inconsistent officiating, but again, it's on us, guys. I mean, it's on the team.
I mean, they take that goal fine, right? But we should have scored like two more. It should have been
Yeah, we
your
should score
prediction,
three
Moose. Like
more.
it should have been 3-1. Should have been 4-1. Montreal are not good. I think that's the real killer here is, we can kill teams, like we can stuff teams. We've done it to DC. We've done it to plenty of teams in this league with this squad, maybe this year or last year that are down. We can beat up on teams, and this was an opportunity to do that, and we struggled. Honestly, we struggled against Montreal, which is the most concerning thing.
Now, I asked AI about Luis Muriel, and I have the answer here. I said, why is Muriel a starter in Orlando City? And it replied this: Muriel's role in the set piece goal against Montreal was crucial. His ability to draw defenders and facilitate Ojeda's strike highlighted his importance, despite not scoring himself. Then it says, Orlando's attack relied against Montreal heavily on Martin Ojeda and Luis Muriel, but other players like Ivan Angulo underperformed. Coach Pareja's decision to bench Angulo in the previous match and his limited impact here suggests a lack of cohesion in the final third. Additionally, injuries to Duncan Maguire and Duran Gervais limit Orlando's attacking options. It's pretty spot on, you know. I thought
Yeah,
I'm like, man, like they're
I
gonna
mean,
take over the world.
I do think it would be interesting right now if Duncan was fit and not had
Yeah,
that second shoulder. Would Muriel be benched or not? Or I don't know. It's hard to say, but
I
at the
think we all
moment,
could agree
it's very
that even
frustrating to watch, I
even
think.
even though he is the third best scorer in the team,
Yeah.
just like Erjan Kara was too at some point, right? Um,
I
I
also have a
feel. No, go ahead, man.
I have a theory about Muriel. I think it's just too hot. I
He's,
think he's just dying out there, bro.
he's what?
I think it's too hot. I think the summer has come and like winter Muriel could run, but now it's like 95 and
Oh
90.
man.
He just I don't see I think he just looks really tired all the time.
Yeah, it's a big is a big
Maybe
factor.
maybe
I
it's
feel
something like
like
that. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like despite him having 6 goals and 6 assists, it's been a bad investment. You know, uh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give up on the guy because he has shown bright sparks and is better than last year, but he lacks consistency for
now
sure.
who was better for you, Alexander Pato or Luis Muriel?
Well, I mean, Pato is way better value for money. Yeah, for sure. Muriel is supposed to be,
3 million.
well, he was supposed to be a top striker. Like when he was coming in, even the pundits around the league were saying this is a really good signing. It just never worked out that way. I mean, he's not in the level of Shaqiri or, Insigne.
Jovinko or
He's
whatever.
buying his way out of that this year a bit, but
Yeah, hundred
if the
percent.
club were to say, "Hey, we sold him," I would be like, "Fine, take the money back." But
Look, I don't want to sound too harsh, but
there are talks and rumors of that, but he has squashed it himself. So I don't think it's
yeah,
happening. I don't think we're trying to sell Muriel, but I wouldn't object to it either.
I don't think this season, but I'm just saying again. I'm nobody to tell the club what to do. But I will cut my I will go ahead and pack that L, that loss. I'll pack it up in a really nice um, gift wrap, you know, and give it to another club, thank you, and hey, give me 1.5, bro, and a cheese sandwich, please. I'll take it because sometimes you have to take those L's. Not every freaking signing is gonna work. And again, praise to Oscar and to his staff and to the front office and to even the fans gambling for this guy. But if this guy's not gonna work in the end, guys, Orlando has to do everything to become that team that exactly what you know um the GM said, exactly. Ricardo Moreira, we want to strive for something better than ourselves. So, I think we're going to cut a lot of fluff at the end of the season, I'm sure, if
I mean,
nothing goes wrong.
Muriel hasn't
This
scored
is
a goal since the Miami game
exactly,
in
yeah,
May. For one of our DPs, it's not good, is it?
100%. But think about it. I mean, his stats for the club, it gives a coach like Oscar or any coach on that matter. Like even if Pochettino had somebody that could score 6 goals in the qualifiers, it's gonna be like, well, he scored 6 goals, 6 assists in the qualifiers. Like statistically, whether you understand, you feel like he hasn't scored in 8 games, like he's the third best striker, like
I mean,
numbers
it's what
wise.
we've got at the moment, but I'd
Yeah,
almost like bring him off the bench as a second striker option. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I think having him in the number 10 is just not doing it for me right now, and that's a lot of it is put Ojeda back there, let him be the ones that run this team, and let Muriel be a part of it, but not the focal point. Mm.
Look, I think eventually, I think we're going to maintain Muriel till the end of the season. But I feel like if he keeps dropping, or even if performances keep dropping, we're going to see more of the kids. And I think we should, might as well, I mean, the Justin Ellises and the Caraballos, like, but again, we're gonna be talking about it in just a moment. But let me highlight real quick, and I know I wanted to ask you talk about more nice things and rainbows and sunshines and butterflies. Martino Heda, man. I mean, you're talking about the third player in Orlando City history to record double-digit goals, 10 goals, 10 assists in a single season across all competitions. Seventh consecutive MLS match with a goal contribution, setting a club record. 12 goal contributions in the last 11 regular season appearances. And then he had a free kick goal. It was a golazo. Tremendous, man. 11 chances created in this game and only one goal, which is the free kick. What are your thoughts on Ojeda's present, man? I mean, he's an all-star. I don't know why he's not in the all-star team, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's killing it, bro. He's up there. Like he's one of the best statted guys that we've had, and I feel like this is really his season. I mean, what, third year with us, and I'm just gonna go on from here. I really feel like Ojeda and Pasalic are gonna be hopefully our two guys
Tremendous.
for the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, they're both of an age where I don't know if they're eager to go on to bigger and better. Maybe they're quite happy here in MLS. It seems to me like Ojeda's very happy here. He's even said that recently. Pasalic has come here and is very happy as well. So if we can build a team around those two guys and they're passionate about playing for this team and being here, then I'm all for it because they're so talented. And Ojeda, a goals, assists, he can do it all, man. That's why he shouldn't be out on the wing. I just feel like he's not. He's wasted on the wing for me.
Look, when it comes to Martin Ojeda, okay, he scored 14 goals. No, sorry, 13 goals and 14 assists in 45 games in Argentina in all competitions. So those numbers that he's having now, and I feel he's obviously the MLS is to me, I think a little bit more. And even though Argentinians are gonna hate me what I'm gonna say, but I don't care. I think travel, the pitches, some of the stadiums. Clearly, I mean they're on natural grass. You have to play in harder terrain, altitude, things like that. It's tougher to play in the MLS, in my opinion, right now. And for him to get 10-10, he's on the way of getting the same amount of goals and assists that Orlando hired him. He's going to produce wearing purple. And I think that's such a turnaround as a player. And I asked him, and we're going to read your comments in just a moment. I asked him in the post press conference, like, look, man, Facu left. You picked up the 10, you know, how do you get your after this draw and after your goal, and obviously I'm sure when we've talked about this before, personal accolades are not as important as collective accolades for you. How do you keep him motivated for the next game that's coming up in a few out in a few days? And he's like telling me about how his family is super important. He's super happy here. His wife, his kids are happy here, going to school here, and how obviously his family in Argentina, that he's taking care of his family there. So it's a beautiful story, and I think it's a good player that's really really loves Orlando, and I think giving him the number 10 makes a lot of sense now. But like John said, let's keep him at the 10. Let's keep him at the
Yeah,
10,
man,
right?
that's his jersey for a reason, right? Yeah,
There
I
you
love
go.
how much he seems to be happy here, man. I make that like you said, he loves Orlando. Orlando loves him, bro. Like there is so much love for Martin out there. Like, and Marco too. I think the two of them are fast
Yeah.
becoming two of my favorite players to ever played in, just quality and production and the amount of joy they bring with their goals.
F, no shot. Any club is paying money for Muriel. LOL. Man, you never know. I'm telling you. In Colombia, they want him for peace and carrots. At
I
this point, I get a bandeja paisa and some
Yeah, I think they
aguardiente,
would let
bro,
him go on
for
a
Muriel.
free. I think if they were like, "Hey, we'll pay off some of his contracts or something." I think the issue is the contract. It's like
Give me a milli,
Muriel,
man. Give me a milli.
he's gonna want the rest of his money on his contract regardless.
Look, give me a milli, some Carol G tickets, and let's just cut it. Let's cut a deal. Uh, F. More than likely, they straight up buy out Muriel's contract to open up a DP spot. Well, more than likely, and to
I'm
be
not
honest
sure. I
with
think he's got
you,
too much on to buy him down. Yeah,
yeah, I think it's better to to pack up that L really nice, ship it really nicely. I think we should look. We are the team that has spent the least in the MLS for the past 4 seasons. Then again, I know I don't want to also say it too loosely because it's not my money, obviously, right? So I'm talking about somebody else's money like it's mine. But if it was me, I would take the L because sometimes in business, you have to understand you have to cut your losses at some point. Not everything is going to be a great success. I mean, you, John, have been in part of Orlando City, way before that. And, there were some signings, John, that I have to say, I'm sure the club had to take the L
Josue
and
Coleman,
just
ring a
move
bell
on.
to you at all?
That's right.
Another
Jose,
Orlando City
Jose
number
Coleman,
10,
Mighty
not so
Mouse.
successful.
That was bad. That was terrible.
Mistakes are going to be
Anyway.
made. I think like you said, Louise, the money has been spent this year. Like we have been spending more
Yeah,
than other years as well. I also think that it's not about just throwing money at it. I mean, look at Atlanta, look
yeah.
at Charlotte this year. Like, it's not. I think if we
It's just
Yeah,
the
I
right
think if the
guy.
right guy was there and they were like, "Hey, we need a bit of extra money," and Ricardo and Luis went to the ownership group and were like, "Hey, we need extra 5 mil because this guy will change the whole game for us and he wants to come here," I think they would say yes. I mean, that's just me speculating on what I've taken in from the people that I've met and the conversations that I've had. But I don't think the Wilps are, trying to be cheap at any point. I think it's more about we just like to spend money carefully, not just throw money at every player that we see.
Look, we need a player like, we need a really good prospect player that's gonna fit the current. And look, this is not something that I am an expert on, but I have full faith on the front office for this because they already demonstrated it with the signings of Atuesta, with the signings of Pasalic, with the promotion of even Shaq at the 9 in OCB. So a lot of these movements, they've done Dagger Dan as a right back, and so there's so many Alex Freeman. So I have full faith in that. Look, we need a signing like the impact that Pedro Vite has had for Vancouver, for example. It's what Pasalic is experiencing right now, and we need that on the left flank. That's able to communicate with another
Yeah,
left back, that it's able to create a partnership, and then you have two strong wingers with Freeman and Pasalic. You have your left wing also taken care of, and then maybe if Angulo, wants to take the back seat, he could be a good substitution coming the second half, minute 72. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
But
mean, the left side's all out of whack, isn't it? Left back, left wing.
it's
Like
all
the
out of
right
whack.
side is great, and the left side is not good. So I'm sure that's where
We have the
Ricardo is
goal.
focused, whether it's left wing or left back. I'm sure they got a game plan for somebody this summer, as we've heard. Luis, I just want to play you the goal. If anyone hasn't seen this, this was I was in the wall
Yes.
and I was there. I was like, I got to take a free kick. I mean, a video from Martin's moment with the free kick, hopeful that he might score, and of course he did. So.
How are you recording with a pint and the
Yeah, Luis, we got to cover it from every angle here, LPO, right? You're up in the press box, I'm down in the stands. But yeah, this is the moment.
That's awesome.
That was probably the best moment of the game there, I think. That was, apart from that, it wasn't the best Saturday night.
No, but I love the fact that when Owusu was going to the penalty spot, everybody was just like, "Whoa, get out of here, man!" Like,
Yeah, the
"Whoa!"
amount of
Like,
flag
uh,
waving and like just, trying to put him off. And yeah, we got great fans, man.
yeah. And it would have been also a magical night if Otero would have saved that. That would have been woof. You imagine we won 1-0 because of Otero?
He had a
Man,
perfectly decent game, man. I don't think he really
yeah, he has a
he
good game.
didn't
He's a
really
good
do
goalkeeper.
anything out of, made no really big errors or anything. I think he was perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
very good goalkeeper. Yep. But anyways, the next game for Orlando City obviously is this Wednesday against NYCFC. We're gonna be talking about the game against NYCFC in just a moment. In the meantime, we're gonna be reading some comments. It says more than likely they straight up buy out Murillo's contract to open up a DP slot. IMO says F. Thank you so much. We're about 56 people live. Thank you for your support. Drop us a thumbs up and also leave us your comments. We'll reach you up for free, not a problem. Now, Orlando City B. We want to dive into Orlando City B, or you want to talk about the
Let's
Blues?
talk about OCB first.
Yep. So OCB played against Carolina Core.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
yep. So Carolina Core 3-1 victory. Carolina Core FC at Osceola County Stadium. Now it's not Osceola Heritage Park. It's cool, propelling them to second place in the MLS Next Pro Southeast Division. Justin Ellis had a brace, second brace in a row. He's really killing it as a nine, So I'm super proud of him. John, do you have some stuff to say about OCB?
Yeah, another good win. I feel like it was, for me, it's often at the moment the Ellis and Mercado show, right? Those two seem to be the ones
11
that are
saves,
shining.
man.
Mercado just so many saves. I mean, there was a lot of shots from. I think 3-1 doesn't really do Carolina Core justice. They did have a lot of chances, and a lot of that was the back line doing a pretty good job of keeping the balls out and clearing the box, but also a lot of Mercado making a lot of saves every game. It's like he makes 10 plus saves. It's crazy. And then Justin Ellis, I mean, everyone's out here talking about Kevin Sullivan. More people need to be talking about Justin
Oh,
Ellis,
Justin
because
Ellis,
Justin
man.
Ellis is having an insane season, and this kid, only 18 years old, just keeps scoring goals. Whether it's U18s, OCB, don't matter. Yeah,
First
I
team,
mean, I think a
first
lot of
team.
people are interested to see. I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. I don't think our striker problem should be solved by the 18-year-old at OCB at the moment, but I would love to see him get some minutes. We've seen a little bit, but some more minutes with the first team, just to see what he can do, because he has a striker's instinct about him, and he got a great goal here.
Yeah.
Off, it was kind of like a poorly, cleared header by their center back, who basically just set it up for Justin to hit on the volley. Great volley that went underneath the keeper's arms. Then later on, Shaq got brought down for the second goal, just straight up easy penalty, and then Justin tucks it in the corner, gets past the goalkeeper. He did dive the right way, but again, a very good free kick from here, and then penalty from him, and then Thales, the Brazilian striker, comes on to get his goal to get the third one. So congratulations to him. We win 3-1 overall. And as you can see in the stats, Luis, I mean, they did have 24 shots,
Yeah.
11 on target, just to give you an idea. So it wasn't like an all dominant, dom- dominant game from OCB. They, didn't really have the majority of the possession either. So good that we got a result 3-1 at home, and just really clinical at both ends, keeping them out and then also taking those goals by Justin for sure.
Happy for Mercado. 11 saves. He didn't even know that he had 11 saves. When they interview him at the end of the game, he was like, "What? 11 saves?" I was like,
I think that,
"Yeah, he
yeah,
had
it was like
11 saves."
13 in one game, 12 in another, 11 now.
Yeah, so he's been doing really good. He's definitely, I think, Orlando City in general on the goalkeeping side. We're Gucci, as they say. And when it comes to Justin Ellis, man, I mean, I think he's the future. Also, I think he should get a chance. Maybe in League's Cup. Maybe on the, but definitely, I would love to have him in the first team, especially going through all these woes. And if let's say Duncan's done for the season, like we're gonna need another striker. And I think Justin it's a tremendous. I love the way he, like you said, he finishes. He has a great finishing instinct, but his positioning, he's tactically very savvy. He's in the right place at the right time. And so he's looking at the game as his teammates are playing, and he knows where to run, where to go for the ball. And they're really, like, I know I'm getting too ahead, but there's strikers that when they do that, they score the most goals. Like, I remember players like, at some point, Gianfranco Sola from Italy, or like Alessandro Del Piero, if people remember that from Italian league back in the day, or even Drogba. Like, they have that vision of, like, he has that, and the little goals I've seen, he's very well positioned. A huge future for the kid, and I definitely feel like, Orlando has like Caraballo, has also Justin, and Colin. Those are kids that I would love to see at the League's Cup. Even though I know probably Oscar's gonna go for the A team on every single tournament. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would like to see us integrate more of the youth, like we did at the beginning of the year. Even though it's halfway through the season, I still think there's time to give minutes to Caraballo, Justin Ellis, see if you can get them up to a performance level. Like even Nico Rodriguez, I know we're joking about him getting put down in
No, he did
OCB, but
really
I
good in
think
this
that's a
game.
lot because they just want to give him minutes. Like you said, he's raw, and the kid just needs minutes. So he should play every OCB game if that helps him get up to a better standard where he can then come play more in the first team and be more effectual. I just want to point out here a couple guys that are leading the league. Carlos Mercado, number one in saves per 90 with
Wow, look at that.
5.3, well above, Pedro, who is for Houston 2 right down here, and Columbus 2 with Luke Pruder. So he is top of the league in saves per 90. And then another one that I have, let me see, where'd that go? Here we go. So, just in foot mob rating, I don't know how much you want to take from that, but the overall rating for Bigs, Kevin Sullivan is the most highly rated player by FootMob in the league with 7.84, and right behind him is Justin Ellis on an average of
But point,
7.82.
bro. But
Yeah,
point two,
Justin
bro.
Ellis
What's
has been
point
player of
two?
the match 4 times
Come
in
on.
this league. Kevin Sullivan twice. So I think sometimes there's hype over guys. Like I know he's got this contract to go to Man City and everything else, but often there's guys who are doing just as well, i.e., Justin Ellis, that are not being talked about or shared videos of as much because they're not as an attractive prospect to talk about per se. So shout out to Justin
Kevin, you
because he
picked
is
the.
having an incredible season.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Justin. I think he's doing tremendous. He also loves our podcast, and thank you for watching, Justin, all the time and supporting. Um, Kevin Sullivan, you picked the wrong British team. Manchester City's going
Is
down,
that your
baby.
segue? Is that like a really clever way to move us to the
Look,
best team in the
I'm gonna
world,
say
Luis?
this. I'm gonna say this. If there's a team in England that represents England in general in the high stage, where it's Chelsea, man. I think right now, nobody saw Chelsea coming into the Club World Cup. Oh, Conference League, that's a joke of a tournament. Okay, they won the Conference League, whatever. They go into this tournament, and I think Maresca has turned has really given these kids a lot of edge and a lot of freedom to play how they want to play, and he's really being able to get the best out of that roster that he has right now. And the few additions that he's done have been conscious additions, not just by name recognition. These are like the lap from Ipswich Town, tremendous signing. He's like the British Duncan Maguire. And then
Hey
you
man, you're
have
talking about Liam Delap, son of Stoke legend and long throw
there you
king
go.
Rory Delap. So yeah, love me some.
Yeah,
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 that's he played for
yeah,
Stoke, by the
there you
way.
go.
He played a season at Stoke. It was terrible on loan for Man City, but yeah, Liam Delap, great player.
Well, then you got the lap, and then you have also Joao Pedro,
Yeah, who they
which
just basically
you know
signed to be Delap's. This is such a Chelsea thing to do, right? We're going to sign two great strikers in one window. They love to do that.
we're all like putting Justin Ellis, and
At
they're
least
like,
you're
okay,
moving on
let's
from
get to
Nicholas Jackson. I mean, that's the smart thing to do.
yeah. So I think no one was expecting the level of just balls that they
No one's
played,
expecting Cole
with
Palmer,
against
dude. You know,
Cole Palmer was
hey,
great,
as
man.
an
I'm
Englishman,
cold,
I
bro.
gotta say, watching him just absolutely cook PSG. Like
Yeah.
some of those goals and those moves and those shots, like the kid is unreal. Shame on Pep for trying to, not
You
let him
imagine
be the
that?
player that he can be. And I'm glad at Chelsea that they just let the kid play because look at the results. I mean, awesome.
Yeah, and And I love the way that it's just it has really like the same thing PSG did against Real Madrid. They did against PSG. It was like beating them on their own game. It was amazing. Look, I've been
Crazy game, man.
a
Crazy game.
Chelsea.
Luis Enrique with
Yeah,
the strangle, and then
yeah, Luis Enrique. He botched it there, man. I mean, he really
I mean, talk about
sore
this is
losers,
supposed to
man.
be the representation of the world's game, and you've got guys fighting on the field and strangling each other. Like it's not a good look, is it? For the world sport, we can't even keep it
Yeah,
together. Two of the best teams in the world can't be professional.
but it was a pretty good final. I mean, Frenchmen against I mean,
Hey,
for England
as the
versus
Englishman,
France.
I'm not a Chelsea fan at all,
Exactly.
but Cole Palmer, I'm a big fan of his, and he's
Reese
yeah.
James
I mean,
too. I
it's
mean,
I you know I don't ever want to say that man's name on this podcast, but the guy at the end, El Presidente of this country,
oh,
who would not get off off the podium.
bro.
What on earth is happening there? Like I've never even Infantino was like, dude, you gotta go. Like crazy.
That was crazy. You know. I just want to say.
Yeah, and I think the whole team was just like, what is happening right now? Like what is this? This is not never in our lives.
Cole Palmer
Never in
is
our
like,
lives that
Cole Palmer is like,
these
hey
officials
man.
stayed on the like literally they're asking him like, you gonna leave?
No man, it's like I guess I don't know where he was at. I don't know, but I just felt it was just quite an anecdote. Like I've been looking at a lot of the shirts, like because I mean one, and so I get like notifications of like several people that are making Chelsea shirts, and they have in all the shirts from Chelsea with the team, they have Trump there, right there. I'm like, yo, I think I'm gonna get it just because to say that stuff really happened. No, but honestly, like super happy for Chelsea, man. I think they are turning around that franchise. I think they're gonna, yeah, Cucurella played the best game in his career, um, and so Fernandez also. And I do want to say the Ecuadorian Moy Caicedo, man, he owned that midfield, man. I mean, that kid was on fire. And then Gusto actually played a really good game, even though usually in this whole tournament he sucked. But he played really so. And I think honestly, PSG they thought it was gonna be an easy game. Dembele, nobody did Dembele play, John?
No, he was yeah, he
Like, did
was
he
there.
play?
He's bad, dude. Like yeah.
Douay also. Where was Douay at? And
I
Bitinha?
mean, that's
Where's
the thing, dude.
Bitinha
It
at? Like,
was I think I think sometimes you forget with like
they
these European
underestimated them.
powerhouses when they're playing really well that like if the right team comes along that's good enough and plays the right tactics, you can definitely beat them. It's not like PSG were unbeatable and there was just the right tactical moves against them. And also Cole Palmer just doesn't the kid doesn't look phased that it's a final at all, He's just so calm under pressure.
Yeah, and I think all I say Cole Palmer is, bro, stay in England, dude.
He's gonna stay at
Like I
Chelsea.
think in
Yeah.
England you could kill it. Don't be swayed for
No,
Real Madrid or
he's
those
not that
Spaniard
kind of guy.
clubs. Those Spaniard clubs.
I
Don't
tell you
don't
why
don't get
Cole
swayed.
Palmer
Just
won't leave England because he'll be like, "Why on
yeah,
earth do I want to live in another country?" He's that kind of like typical British lad that's like, "I don't want to live, 20 yards from my mom and parents," kind of thing. Like he's that sort of local guy.
yeah,
I saw this hilarious video of someone made the kid the aura farms on the front of the ship, but they changed it to Cole Palmer and a bunch of the Chelsea players.
yeah,
This cracked me up. And then if they fly past the PSG logo in the floor in the river, that made me chuckle. So when memes come together, Luis.
yeah. I mean, overall, I think this tournament was. a success. I think um, a lot of people are saying, "Hey, this should have been played more on the west, not on the east." But also for safety concerns, they didn't want to play it on the west. All the riots and things like that, guys. I, I'm sure that's why they play so many games on the east. Look, I feel like if this would have been played and not make it such a cash grab, even though it was a pretty big cash grab. Because look, to give you an example, John, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is I think over 70,000 in attendance. They sold for one of the playoff games 50,000 tickets. The cheapest ticket was
Yeah.
$110. So just imagine the amount of money they made in one freaking game.
Yeah. I did feel
So
like this very much was the, oh, look at, the trial for the World Cup, and then they're licking their lips at how much they're going to charge. Like, they're like, oh, we can charge this much for a Club World Cup game. How much can we charge for a World Cup game? Like, I honestly, I think the phrase is the game, the game is gone, is used too much, but this was originally a game for every person. It's supposed to be a game that your local fan can afford to come and watch. Your working man can
I
afford
agree
to come and watch the leagues.
110%.
That's why it's so passionately followed in your country and in my country and other places where football is affordable, soccer is affordable. So why in America do we feel the need to charge an exorbitant amount of money, often for like quality of play that's not that great? If you think about how much we're paying to go watch MLS, if you went and translate that into some of these European countries and go watch the minor leagues and lower leagues there, you're not going to pay nearly as much. So I think there is a precedent here in America they can charge more for soccer, and I think Infantino and FIFA and the rest of them like that a lot.
So Infantino is moving FIFA headquarters to Miami,
Yeah,
by the way,
that's
John.
been going on for the last year or so.
So in my understanding, according to some friends that covered this event, there's one guy that is a big guy in there, like below Infantino, said, "Oh, see you guys in 4 years again." So meaning 2029 could be happening in the U.S. again.
Yeah, there's been talk of that.
You imagine, I can imagine 4 years ago, guys, I saw Chelsea win. Older, probably a whole full blood of gray hair. You know, it says I don't understand how we can draw with the worst team in the East, bro. It says Supra. Thank you, Supra. Appreciate it. Yeah, unacceptable. F. Do other countries even have chippy chips?
It's about Cole Palmer. Yeah, you gotta. If you haven't seen that video of him talking about chippy chips, that's some quality content.
Well, good championship for Chelsea. We'll be covering the World Cup, I'm sure, next year. But let's go to the game that's definitely going to be an important one for Orlando City to definitely get a W, and it'll be against NYCFC. Orlando faces NYCFC at home on Wednesday, just days after their disappointing draw against Montreal. This match, when I say it's critical, guys, it is utmost critical, as NYCFC sits directly below Orlando in the Eastern Conference, the sixth seed versus the seventh seed, with Orlando holding a 4 point lead, 35 versus 31. Both teams are fighting for playoff positioning. Orlando needs to win to halt and put a stop and an end to their 3 game winless streak. John, what are your expectations coming out of this game, aside of just win?
I mean, we have to win, like you said. I think if you look at the form of the teams that are around us and us, we should be in this form up here, right? We need to be wins and draws.
Uh-huh.
We're in draws and losses form, the same as sort of what Charlotte and New York and other New York have been producing. So we have to turn it around. We have to start getting 3 points on a regular basis. Right now, we have that 4 point cushion. Miami already went past us, but they're only 3 points ahead. So if we can start winning again, then we can, maybe keep up with Miami and push back into a top four. Like last year, at this point, I don't even know if we were in the playoff mix yet. We might have been like ninth and 10th. We were on our resurging push back into, you know, up the league, and we ended up in second. So we can definitely push the second half of this season and come high up in the table. There's no question about that. But we actually have to do it. Like we actually have to go out there and win a lot of games in a row, like we did last year. We actually have to push, and we have to win our home games against the likes of New York City. So, especially after the disappointment that was Montreal 1-1.
Yeah, so what John says is 110% correct. You got the Union playing against Montreal; they're probably going to win. And then you had, can you go back onto the other real quick? So Cincinnati's going to play Inter Miami. This is a perfect opportunity for Cincinnati to just soar high, and I think that's what Cincinnati is going to have to do. And Nashville also playing against Columbus. So all the four teams above us are going to be playing against each other. So Cincinnati, Nashville, and Columbus are going to be playing against each other. That's a perfect opportunity for us to just win against New York and get, like John was saying, the fourth seed. Getting close to and kind of cutting that difference with Inter, um, or even scoring enough goals that we can pass them into the fifth or fourth seed. So it's a must win. When I said it's a must win, if we lose this game, we're going to be relegated to the Charlottes, Chicago's, and New York Red Bulls zone, which is not, it's not good. I don't think it's acceptable for what this team is aiming for. Clearly, Orlando's form has been fairly inconsistent for some games. The Montreal draw extended their winless run to three. And I think the return of maybe Galese, Robin Jansen, especially Jansen, hopefully it helps the defense. But again, we're missing Joran Gervais, and I guess in the attacking third, we're not having the same solidity as we have on defense. So I think they need to go back into scoring their chances, because NYCFC, it is also inconsistent. They've only scored 27 goals in 21 matches. Um, the road form is pretty poor. It says they just have one win in this so far, one win away. Um, so by now you have to understand, against Orlando, look at this stat that I just have here. It says NYCFC are unbeaten against their in their last 8 MLS matches against Orlando at home, including playoffs. So that is in NYCFC at their stadium. But obviously, they are also pretty good in Orlando when they face us. Now, they have players not with the caliber of Orlando City, for sure. But they have a player that is like Maxi Morales, that he's had also 6 goals and 6 assists against Orlando in his whole career. So he always turns up and plays against Orlando. Also, Matt Freese, he's going to be the keeper, and he comes from a great Gold Cup run. So, it is a team not to take lightly. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. What are your thoughts on NYCFC, John?
They just signed another guy as well. I know that. I don't know if he's here yet or if he's with the team. I'd have to look that one up. But yeah, I agree with you. Morales, always causes us problems. Matt Freese is a very good goalkeeper. I'm just not particularly excited by this New York City side. I think they have their moments. Like Hannes Wolf is very good on counterattack. He's got a lot of speed. But it's definitely a team we can beat. They just lost 2-0 to Charlotte. So, I mean, we saw what Charlotte were able to produce. We should have beaten Charlotte. We shouldn't have conceded 2 goals to them. I think it shows that they definitely, are susceptible. Their back line is not the best. It is good, but not the best. And often why we struggle against them is because we play them in their house when we do it on the baseball field that we just can't play on. It's just an awkward shape and size and poor pitch surface, and they always seem to do well in that environment. At our stadium, it seems to be a more even affair. So hopefully we can figure out our attack and bounce back and get a W, Luis, because we really need one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we need to neutralize Shore and Morales. Maxi Morales is the playmaker there. He's always played really well against Orlando. I think Cesar. I was actually talking to Michael Citro, trying to say hello to him, if he's watching or listening. So we were saying, how inconsistent also Araujo when it comes to the turnovers he has been lately. And yeah, I mean, he kept losing the ball in the first half like it's nothing, and like no pressure. So I think we need to see a change because Maxi feeds off turnovers, and if he's gonna be a turnover machine, we're not gonna put all that strain into Atuesta because he's not as good defending as Araujo is. So those two need to dominate the midfield battle, in my opinion, and use their physicality and quick transitions to limit him. And then also, again, and I can't reiterate enough on the attacking third, we need to be clinical, man. We need to convert the chances that cost the game against Montreal. Which seems crazy to think that we didn't win that game, but we didn't win that game. Ramiro needs to score. Pasalic needs to come alive. I mean, Orlando needs to be ruthless aggression. I know it sounds like Vince McMahon, but ruthless aggression, guys. Ruthless aggression. Like, honestly, you got to target their fullbacks. They don't have a really good back line. Like, that backline could create a lot of openings for Freeman to cut in, for Angulo to cut in. Like, we need to really have no mercy on those guys. I mean, score one, two, three, as many goals as we can. And we have that. I mean, our attacking third, as I already mentioned, Ojeda 10-10. You have also Pasalic 10-4. You have also Muriel 6-6. So I mean, these are players that are definitely there on the stats for us is when it comes to scoring. They need to convert. If we don't, the game is gonna cost us because I guarantee you NYCFC is gonna look at this as a
Well,
derby.
I think our defensively, I'm going to be a bit more, sure about us with Pedro back in there, and then Jansen back in, and probably Brecalo at left back again, just with Alex Freeman at right back, and Jansen and Schlegel, just kind of going back to that back five that we had where we were really consistent and had a lot of 0-0 results or a lot of clean sheets with that back five. So that'll be good to get back to that with guys who rested and didn't even play last game. But attacking and midfield wise, I think we hopefully will see Ojeda back in the 10. Maybe Angulo will get back in on the left wing. I don't know. But I just don't want to see the same as last game, Luis. I think we need to make a change. Whatever we've been doing recently is not working.
So their new signing, Nicolas
Yep,
Fernandez,
that's it.
that that comes from Spanish side Elche, signed through contract through 2021, 25 years old. So he's not cleared yet to play, just like as my friend F is saying here. So he's a great player, by the way. He's a really good midfielder. I think Maxi's gonna take a back seat, and I think he's gonna be moving the strings there. Yeah. So it says that field is very small, not fair. Yeah, I agree with you. It was promising to hear from Brecalo and Pareja. They're ready, says Josh Dahl. Thank you so much. The impressive Freeman started, especially after not playing for us in a while. Correct. And do you think Gerbe will be back soon?
I'd love
Hopefully.
Gervais to be
I would
back.
love to
I
see
don't
him
know though.
play. We know that he has neck, right, John?
No,
Neck
he's
or
thigh.
thigh?
He's thigh. I'll check. I'm just checking for NYCFC. They've had a few guys out that've been out for a while. I think really Gervais is the only guy that we're counting. Duncan is long term out, so he's the only guy that might come back and be a change. This is the stats for New York against Charlotte. I mean, they seem to have trouble putting the ball in the back of the net. They had 4 shots on target out of their 16, and they missed both their big chances in that game. So uh, hopefully they're also
So
struggling to find the back of the net at the moment.
do you feel it's gonna be a low scoring game?
I think so. I mean, unless something changes for us, we're struggling. I think we'll get 1, maybe 2, but we have to keep them out. If they score first, it's going to be a problem, Luis, because teams like we've seen,
Yeah.
when they go up a goal or even, they're 1-1, they will sit in and they will frustrate us.
The draw against Montreal was a missed opportunity for Orlando because of their inability to finish chances. And obviously, some of these critical errors that just come about, like the penalty and all that stuff. So to beat New York, you have to harness your inner Super Saiyan, and you need to attack, man, and become that attacking strong team that we used to be in the beginning of the season.
We got to be lethal,
You know,
dude.
I
We
don't
got to
know if
be lethal.
Mr. Perlman is exploiting the set pieces again, but I mean, we need to do more of
Yeah,
that,
I
right,
mean,
John?
shout out to Martin Perlman and his excellent set piece activities. That was very well taken.
All right, so we're really on a drought when it comes to results. We haven't really guessed absolutely nothing the past few games. You want to go for this result, John? You want to do your prediction first?
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking result wise? Oh, you want me to go first?
You can go
Wow, I
first.
never get to go first. All right. Oof. I'm going to go with what I thought last game. I'm going to go with my 2-0. I'm going to be positive.
2-0.
I think, yeah.
Clean sheet.
I'm hoping that there's a reaction. That's what we want to see. We want to see a reaction from the boys. I want to see something different.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Orlando. Um,
I like the positive. Neither of us are like, hey, we're going to go
I have I
draws
have a
or.
feeling I have a feeling they're gonna score one, but it's gonna be off a set piece in the second half, and I think we're gonna score another one at the end, and it's gonna be 3-1. So I don't know. Something's telling me that they're gonna turn it around. I mean, they have to. I mean, the fans, the whole vibe. You know how they were giving away the koozie for military appreciation night. People were throwing that stuff on the on the street. I picked up a couple of the
That's not
street.
good.
Uh, yeah, I found a bunch of them. Like they were just pissed, man. They were upset. Some of them were upset for the result because obviously against Montreal we expected a
Yeah,
W,
man.
for sure. But
It's it's disappointing.
it is
Yeah.
what it
And
is.
we got to
It is
say
what
as
it is.
well, like, Oscar has to do something, right? I think that the last couple of games, it's like, yeah, the play is slipping, and you can blame the boys for their level and their standard. But this is where now a coach needs to get a reaction. He needs to get them to either perform better or he needs to change things to allow them to be able to perform better because our standards, as Ricardo said, are not where they should be.
110%. 110%. Josh Stahl says it will also be nice to go on a winning streak. That's right,
Yeah.
sir.
I
That's
mean,
right.
it can
Chelsea
happen.
dominated. Chelsea dominated PSG. That's right. F says 3 weeks out with a with a tight thigh. There you go. With a tight, tight thigh.
I think it's more than just a tight
Yeah.
thigh. Yeah. I don't think they disclosed, but he
You got
must
a
have
tight
pulled
thigh.
something. You know what I mean? Like he's been out a while.
Megatron. Freeman is super solid. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Freeman
Yeah.
is. it was great for him to come back and then see his family. It was just I wish it would have been a W
You were
for
right,
sure.
Luis. I mean, he's an engine. Kid just goes, they're not afraid to throw him straight in, even though he played like every game with a Gold Cup.
Dude,
It's just he can
dude's gonna
play at
be
90
dude's gonna
whenever
go
you want.
places.
So
Yeah. So we wanted to thank you. You have anything else to add, John? Or
I just want to say, thank you to everybody that watched the first episode of the Forever Alliant podcast that I announced last Friday. If you've not done so, go ahead and check that out. It's just search at Forever Alliant on YouTube or on Spotify. Did the first episode with Kay talking all about her years when she was helping to build the club and everything that she's been doing from the community side of things, and a lot of interesting kind of tidbits and stories. So if you're somebody that doesn't know much about the club and wants to learn more, please come over and give that a listen. I appreciate you guys for your support there. And it's exciting. I got a very exciting guest coming up this week, Louise, that I think you're gonna want to hear all about. So episode 2 is coming soon.
cool. Any hint?
Yes, is a guy that we talk about fairly regularly on this podcast who is still in and around the club. That's my hint for you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, okay. I'm not gonna. Yep.
That's all I give you.
There you go. So make sure you check out Forever a Lion. It's on YouTube. You can just search it, and it's gonna be right there. Subscribe, drop a comment. Also, you can check us out. We're gonna be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. This episode. If you're listening, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you. We haven't forgotten about you. So drop us your comment. Also, if that's what you would like to do, we'll respond to you on the next episode. X. We're available on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube as well at LP_podcast. Thank you so much for your support. We have the Pride Pod coming up next. So in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure you
You got
stick
to hear all
around.
about
The
Barbara in
link is
Zambia.
yep, Zambia. Kuchalo is gonna the video is gonna come up right after this is over. The video is gonna come up. Just click on it, and then it will take you to the video, and we're going to be starting in just a moment. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Thursday. John?
Yes, well reminded, Luis.
See,
Thursday, because this is a double game week. We will be back
that's
on
right.
Thursday for another pod, so we can talk all about New York City FC and preview. Where are we on the weekend? New
New
England. That's
England.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting some clam chowder. My favorite soup, by the way. I love
Yeah.
clam chowder.
So busy week for
Yeah.
podcasting and for us.
There you go, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And again, thank you. And vamos
Vamos,
Orlando. Take care,
Orlando.
guys. Have a good one.